Okay, so this is a quick video on how to get more out of Volca FM patches without having to dig deep into the menu each time. So by default, every patch has the LFO mapped to the pitch, which is good for sort of like slight detune noises all the way to like crazy pitch effects. But sometimes they're hard to apply in a musical sense. So the Volca FM also has a really nice amplitude LFO that you can save to each preset, so you don't have to do that every time if you just do once. And the way that you do that is by going to the edit menu, going all the way to the end, and then scrolling back till you find the parameter that says ants. Then you can quickly put it to the max 3 for each operator. You won't hear an effect yet until you go all the way to the end of the all parameters and then push this to 99. This one here, A and D to 99. And now what you have, right, is this amplitude modulation effect, which is really cool, and you can apply it easily in a musical sense. But you also have the pitch LFO as well, so you can combine them. So now you kind of have like one LFO that's applied to 2 parameters. So it's not exactly 2 LFOs, but one mapped to 2 parameters. And if you still want individual control of the pitch effect, you can turn down the rate of the amplitude, and now you kind of have like this separate kind of detune like knob with the pitch depth here. Cool. Okay, so now I'm gonna save that, so I'll never have to do that again. I'll always have access to the amplitude LFO now. And now I'm just gonna do that to all kinds of patches that I like. So I have another patch here that I'm a fan of. So it saves where you're at in the menu. So now all I have to do is go to turn them all the way back on, all the amplitude LFO. And now I permanently have an amplitude LFO on this patch as well. So I'm just going to save that and continue to do that for patches that I like. So for instance, this patch, it has no amplitude LFO applied. And then again, easily, because it saves where I'm at in the menu, I can apply that here. So now it has an intense effect. So now this is no effect. And now I have like a tremolo effect applied. And what's cool now, so this amplitude effect kind of mimics a tremolo of where the volume goes up and down. But now if I increase the decay, it almost becomes like increasing the feedback of a delay effect. So I'm going to increase it more. So now it's like increasing the number of repeats of a delay. And now I can add reverb. And obviously it's not exact same as a delay effect, but it almost mimics having a delay and reverb effect on a patch with a controllable feedback setting, which is really cool. So the last thing I want to show, which is a cool way to use the LFO, is by kind of making random bass lines and melodies with rhythmic variations that the LFO can do. So again, I like to do that on bass patches. So here's a very simple bass line that I have. Very simple, right? So I'll go all the way to the end of the menu, go all the way to the end, and then find the LFO wave and go to 3. That makes it a square wave. Then I'm going to turn the pitch all the way up. And you can tell it's kind of like out of tune. It's a little bit detuned. That's because LFO range is small, the pitch range is small. So what I can do is go to the next parameter, and now I turned up the pitch range all the way to the max, so it's like it's jumping an octave every time the LFO initiates. So you get these cool rhythmic patterns, you can see. There's with the LFO off. Now it's kind of like jumping and works with melodies as well. And again, I'm going to save that patch, so now I never have to do that again. It'll always be the LFO like that on these certain bass patches that I like. And the last thing I want to show is that kind of a formula that I found to pseudo sync the LFO tempo to the BPM. And the formula is the BPM divide by 60 times the max LFO value divide by 10. So in this case, my BPM is at 120. The max LFO rate is 99. So I'm going to divide that by 60. Multiply by 99 and divide by 10. I did the calculation, and around 20 BPM, the tempo is synced a little, kind of like that. It's actually better if I go to this parameter here and key sync it. So now the LFO re-triggers every note. And I can double that. So it's somewhat mimicking the LFO, and you can play around a little bit with the rate to match your tempo, but it's just a cool way to play around with the patches here. Right, and then that's with LFO off, turning a simple pattern into one that has a little bit more variation. And that's it.